Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering Vaxee's new Outset AX Wireless. This is probably the best ergonomic shape for me, and whether that's going to be the case for you is going to be determinant on a number of variables, a number of factors, size of your hand, how you grip the mouse. But we've seen a number of solid ergonomic wireless mouse hit the market this year, and there's more to come. We had the Model O 4K, 8K. We have the Pulsar X Lite V3 coming. The Zowie EC series finally hit wireless, and the Death Adder V3, the Lamzu Thorn, just a number of solid ergonomic wireless mice. And for me, I would have to push every single one of those to the side because the Vaxee Outset AX Wireless is just a shape that feels molded for the dimensions, the specifications of my hand. I can pick this mouse up and say that I've never had a more form-fitted experience in terms of how it grooves on the underside of my palm. If I want to utilize a more comfortable palm contact grip, I can, and it just feels absolutely molded for how my hand curves and grips the mouse while palm gripping. The nice thing about the Outset AX is, for my size hands, even if I want to fingertip this mouse, which I typically kind of swap it up and hybrid grip the Vaxee Outset AX, but if I want to fingertip this mouse, I can, and I get enough inner hand maneuverability to actually make it viable, to make it feel as though I've got a ton of movement under the hand. For Apex Legends, it is a mouse even in its wired format. I still have the wired review if anybody is interested in that, but this is the only wired mouse I own, and for good reason. It is my favorite shape. It is the only thing that really truly feels as though it was made for me, if that makes sense. And again, I can't tell you that your experience with the Vaxee Outset AX is going to be the same. It very likely won't, because we all have different hands and different ways of gripping mice and different muscles and tendons that activate as we move the mouse and cater to different grips as we age and get older. There's just so many variables there that make one person's grip not able to say that this would be as good for you as it is for me. That's just the way it is, which is why I'm never going to be able to say that one mouse fits all. I'm never going to be able to say that one symmetrical mouse is number one over everything else. I can only say what my top 5 is, what my number 1 is. And the Vaxee Outset AX Wireless is my top ergonomic mouse, period. It is the best shape, in my opinion, on the market for my hand, and just overall between the weight and the weight balance. The weight doesn't bother me. I perform extremely good on the mouse in game, and the weight kind of just disappears for me. As I'm playing in game, the weight just kind of dissipates. It goes away. It becomes a non-issue, a non-factor. So whether a mouse is 72 grams or 30 grams, I'm going to play the same way. Is it noticeable going from the G Pro Superglide 2 to the Vaxee Outset AX? It's not that big of a jump. It just doesn't feel that significant to me going from one to the other. It is noticeable for sure, but it's not something that I would say there's no way I'm going to be playing on this because, wow, it's 72 grams. And really, I think playing on the Vaxee Outset AX, it really gets you thinking, is weight really all that much a factor in my overall enjoyment, my overall performance? And it's just not for me. For other people, for aimers, maybe people that are shooting for the highest scores, maybe you get some benefit with a lighter mouse and having faster flicks back and forth as you're going crazy in different aim lab scenarios. But for tracking, for tack shooters, for flicking, this mouse is easily a number 1 performer for me. I have not played Apex really at all in the past, I would say 3 weeks. I've been having a lot of fun in the finals, and just picking up the Vaxee Outset AX Wireless tonight and playing for hours and hours and hours. Just from my first game to my last game, I was extremely consistent. My tracking has never felt this good, except when I was using the Outset AX wired version of the Outset. It's just an unbelievable experience that feels, again, catered to me, tailored to me. When you go to a nice tailor and you get a suit that's just form-fitted to you, that's the experience that I get from the Vaxee Outset AX Wireless. Now, pushing all of that to the side, there's just a few build things that I want to note on this particular copy. Really not really significant things and not anything that would deter me from using the mouse and having that tailored experience. But I do want to point out what build quality issues I have on this particular copy. Now, in terms of build quality concerns, that's a very personal thing as well. What might affect me not so much or a lot could be very different for another user. In terms of what I've noticed on the Vaxee Outset, the coating is very nice. It reminds me, obviously, of the Vaxee XE Wireless. It's very grippy. It stays dry. It does accumulate a little bit of grime. You can just wipe it off. Overall, a really nice coating. I wouldn't need grips for this particular mouse. In terms of the side buttons, they are translucent black like the Vaxee XE Wireless, and I do have a bit of pre-travel and just a bit of post-travel on the edge of mouse 4 and mouse 5. Otherwise, mouse 4 and mouse 5 both feel pretty good. The scroll wheel has well-defined steps like other Vaxee mice. Mouse 3 is very spammable. No issues at all with the scroll wheel or the side buttons that concern me in-game. In terms of mouse 2, I do have a little bit of more post-travel if you hit the button towards the edge of mouse 2. And the same thing happens on the edge of mouse 1. You feel a lot more post-travel if you happen to hit the button on the edge of mouse 1 or mouse 2. Mouse 2, I actually don't have really any side flex at all, but mouse 1 has a lot of side flex. So depending on where I hit the plastic over mouse 1, I can get flex, I can get bending, as well as side-to-side play. Initially, I absolutely hated the feel of mouse 1, and I was pretty depressed on that. But I kind of subconsciously just started hitting the button right in the middle of mouse 1 to avoid those issues. And doing that, I just didn't really reproduce that feel of flex in-game. Initially, again, it was horrible, but afterwards, it just kind of went away. Somebody else, though, if you have a tendency to hit it on the edges of mouse 1, that could be a pretty big issue. It just didn't feel that good depending on where I hit mouse 1. Otherwise, the weight balance all felt really good. Sensor performance is phenomenal in performance mode and even not in performance mode. And I just love that everything on the mouse is able to be changed with the buttons on the bottom of the mouse. I don't have to worry about software, bloatware, etc. I hate Razer Synapse. I hate IQ. I love having everything right on the bottom of the mouse. And I would just note the skates seem the same as the Vaxee XE in terms of the quality. Certainly, I'd probably upgrade the skates over time. So guys, that is going to be it for this one. Again, it's a mouse that I can say is unquestionably, undeniably the best shape that I have ever used. It's a tailored experience for me. Again, I had those little build quality issues on my particular copy, but for the performance and the tailored feel, it's just not something that would be able to deter me from using the mouse. The mouse has everything that we're used to from Vaxee mice with all of the functionality on the bottom of the mouse, including the debounce, the hertz polling rate, the DPI, and then you can set it so it has motion sync on or off, and then performance mode on or off. So I like the fact that you don't have any software, you don't have any bloatware. It's just all on the mouse. It's easy to use. It's plug and play and high performance from the first plugin to the last plugin. So it's truly a phenomenal mouse that I can say is undeniably the only mouse that has ever felt as though it was made for me. And that's why it's easily going to be my #1 ergonomic mouse, and right now, my main. Again, that could be very different for you, so please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Not all of our hands are the same. Again, I can't stress that enough. What I can say is I do have a top 3 ergo list in my mind, but again, that's for what I like. Other reviewers might not like it. Other reviewers might enjoy and stress weight more than shape and size and feel. For me, the Vaxee Outset right now, again, my #1. I hope it helped, guys. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.